Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, I am delighted to be looking at a new Slowking card. And I know what you're thinking, yes, I've been a bit of a slow Aussie getting some of these new cards out. But as World Championships this weekend, I had to bring you all the news, all the top decks. I had to keep you lovely ladies and gentlemen informed. Over the next few days, we will be going full speed ahead, and you know the deal by now on this channel. All the new cards that are revealed, I will be showing you what they are, what they do, and discussing the best ways to play them. So make sure you're subscribed and keep checking back, because you know what? If you're watching PTCGRadio, you ain't gonna miss a beat. So this new Slowking, it is a water Pokemon, which is very, very nice. It means if you play a water Slowpoke, you can take advantage of Brooklet Hill, which is an amazing supporter, lets you get your basics out nice and easily. It also means that you could use Aqua Patch if you are so inclined to accelerate a bit of energy, and it means that although you're hitting weakness on stuff like Turtonator, you're not hitting weakness on Ho-Oh, which is a better Pokemon. The retreat cost of 2 does suck, because it means that Escape Board will only reduce your retreat cost to 1, not to 0, and the weakness to Grass is honestly fine. Even if Grass was seeing a lot of play, the 2 best Grass Pokemon are your Tapu Bulu and your Golisopod, which naturally hit for 120, which is how much HP you've got. And yes, I'll give you this, ladies and gentlemen, 120 HP kind of sucks. It means Zoroark will still get a one-hit KO, and if there's anything we've learned this weekend, it's that Zoroark GX is still redonk. So you know what? Yeah, I'd much rather have 130 HP as well, but we can't all have everything we want. The first attack here, and the translations of course come from the lovely David Hochmann, Mr. Rappelman TCG himself, over at limitlesstcg.com/translations, and the first attack I like a lot. 1 water energy, look at your opponent's hand, choose 1 card you find there and put it into the Lost Zone. Yes. Now, by now, it should be apparent that Lost Thunder is really going full on into the Lost Zone, but there a couple of weeks ago when I made a video about whether the Lost Zone is back and a whole bunch of people went, Prism Stars? Prism Stars prove it's back. This is what I was talking about. Prism Stars going to the Lost Zone when they've been played so you can only use them once is adorable. But it really is just a convenient way to make them a single-use Pokemon. This is what I mean by the Lost Zone coming back. Being able to pick any card from your opponent's hand and pop it in the Lost Zone. And if it was choose 1 card from your opponent's hand and discard it, I'd be all like, nah, we can do better. But putting it in the Lost Zone makes such a huge, huge difference here. And first of all, they can't get it back. The Lost Zone is kind of like the discard pile, but they can't get a Pokemon back. So let's say, for argument's sake, your opponent is playing one of the non-GX Buzzwole. We'll grab it out of their hand, pop it in the Lost Zone, and there's no rescue stretcher to bring it back. It's gone for the game. Let's say your opponent is playing Gardevoir GX. You can grab a Gardevoir and put it in the Lost Zone, meaning that they don't have access to that particular Gardevoir. Or you can grab one of their 4 double colorless energy and put it straight into the Lost Zone. Or maybe you look at their hand and they've got a whole bunch of rubbish and they've got a Cynthia. So you look at their hand and you go, oof, that's a really bad hand. The only thing you're going to be able to do next turn is play a Cynthia and hope to draw a better hand. Well, now you're doing 2 amazing things. Number 1, you're disrupting them. You're getting rid of that Cynthia from their hand, so they're not able to play it next turn and get a new hand. But number 2, that Cynthia goes in the Lost Zone. If you played something like a Marshadow to give them a new hand, then they might draw back into that Cynthia. But by getting rid of it and popping it in the Lost Zone with this is amazing. And while we're talking about Marshadow, don't forget that this could be a beautiful combination between the pair of them. Drop a Marshadow, let loose gives both players a new hand of 4 cards, and then you pick one of those 4 cards and put it in the Lost Zone. What are the chances they've drawn 2 good cards off of a Marshadow? They might have done, it's possible, but I would venture to say it's unlikely that they've done so. And that's where you come in. you make sure that after playing that Marshadow, you're getting rid of the best card in their hand with Slowking. And like I've said, they've got a Zorua on the bench. Not only are you taking that Zoroark out of their hand, but you're putting it in the Lost Zone. If they've got 4 Zorua on the bench, and you put a Zoroark in the Lost Zone, the only way they evolve that Zorua is if a Zoroark gets knocked out, then they rescue stretcher it back, then they evolve it. That, ladies and gentlemen, is very, very awkward. So on the one hand here, this is a great disruption attack. It just takes cards away and puts them in the Lost Zone, and then they're gone for the game. That's cool. But don't forget that with the Lost Zone properly being back, there are going to be other ways to interact with the Lost Zone. Now, I did a video about the new Unknown the other day. I'll pop a link in the description. And one of them, Unknown Missing, said it's got an ability whereby if your opponent has 12 supporter cards in the Lost Zone, you may choose to win the game. And this is one of the ways you can do that. Now, look, you're not going to use this 12 turns in a row. You'll lose the game. And you're not always going to catch supporters. It's not going to win the game like that. Slowking Unknown is not going to be the next best deck or something silly like that. However, it'll help. If you can get 10 or 11 supporters in the Lost Zone in a different way, this can put the last 1 or 2 in there, and then you can choose to win the game. And I am scratching the surface here, ladies and gentlemen. So, for instance, the old Mew Prime, back when the Lost Zone was in full swing last time, had a great ability letting it use the attacks of any Pokemon in the Lost Zone, both yours and your opponent's. If we get another card like that, then Slowking could be great to put something in the Lost Zone, and then you can use its attacks with Mew. Unfortunately, the best thing we've got at the moment is the new Jumpluff I showed you yesterday. Again, link in the description. But unfortunately, the new Jumpluff does 20 damage for each of your Pokemon in the Lost Zone, which is kind of upsetting because it means that you can't use this to add extra damage with Jumpluff. It doesn't make it bad by any stretch. It just means that right now, we don't have that many options. But this is one of those cards that will get better in the future. I talked about this with Jumpluff yesterday. These cards that interact with a Lost Zone, we're going to get more and more. Hopefully, at least. Hopefully, it won't just be a one-off in this set. And that means that the story isn't over yet. And any time you get a card that wants your opponent's cards in the Lost Zone, Slowking becomes a really fun thing to think about. Now, there is a second attack here, and it's quite nice as well. Free colorless energy, 60 damage, plus 20 for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. It's Psychic, and we've got Psychic on a whole bunch of Pokemon. So, Espeon GX springs to mind. Oranguru springs to mind. There's a bunch. I'm not going to go through them all. But it's just doing more damage depending on how much energy is on your opponent's active Pokemon. Now, against something like Turtonator, this isn't going to be particularly good because they're going to discard the energy. But I'm quite a big fan of Reshiram GX. What you do is you put 4 energy on there, and you do 180 damage, and you can accelerate 5 fire energy from your hand to your Pokemon in any way that you like. Well, if they've got 4 energy on here, you're actually getting a one-hit KO. I mean, to be fair, if they've got 2 energy on, you're getting a one-hit KO. Same thing with Turtonator. That's actually kind of cool. What's even cooler, if they've got 0 energy on and you've got a Choice Band, you're getting a one-hit KO on a Reshiram. That will not get you a KO on a Turtonator because they've got 190. So either they've got to have 1 energy or you've got to have a Shrine of Punishment in play, and then you will go and get the KO there. This is really, really quite cool. I am a big fan of this attack. It hits numbers quite nicely. It's not, I don't think, the reason you play Slowking, although you can use double colorless energy here, and you can use Aqua Patch, but I think it's a handy little bonus. If you're not hitting for weakness, you just don't really get up to the numbers quick enough. I mean, if a Gardevoir's got 5 energy attached to it, you're still only doing 160 and you're not even close to KOing it. So I don't think it's particularly an attack for if you're not hitting for weakness. But if you are hitting for weakness, I like it a lot. It's for colorless energy. I said this same thing with Swampert, although that was the energy attached to you, not your opponent. But it was a similar kind of thing. You're hitting enough damage that with weakness, it doesn't really matter about the extra thing. For Swampert, how much water energy you've got attached to you. For this, how much energy is attached to the defending Pokemon. Because you can actually make this work quite nicely regardless. Against non-GXs, you're hitting 120, and it won't get them all, but the new Moltres, which is likely to be the starting Pokemon in Fire decks, well, that will go down quite nicely. Again, link to that video in the description as well. All these unreleased cards, I'll pop links in the description. Then you can learn all about them. Yay! It's not some kind of powerhouse amazing attack that's going to make you desperate to play the game, but it is the kind of attack that should make you go, oh, that's a handy bonus. And that is about the most we can ask for. Overall, I'm giving this between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. I adore this first attack, and I honestly just think it's going to be better in the future. And the second attack, it's fine. It's a handy bonus. But I want to know what you think. I want to know what you think about this Slowking. So do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. But remember the rule, ladies and gentlemen. Do be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.